You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Costa, host of the Costa Report every Sunday at 9 a.m. My guest this week took over as Executive Director of the American Civil Liberties Union 7 days before the 9/11 attacks. Anthony Romero will be here to talk about the growing need to protect liberties guaranteed by the Constitution. Don't miss an honest look at post 9/11 America right here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
You are listening to the Mr. Judd Show. This is Eric Judd at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. I trust everyone is doing well today after a nice 3-day weekend. Hope everyone had a good Labor Day yesterday. Even if you had to labor, I hope it was good. So I also hope that you had a good Sunday. I mean, great weather for this past weekend. Just a wonderful time to be out and about as summer, I guess, officially comes to a close, even though we live in a great area of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we'll still have nice weather all the way through to probably just before or maybe after Thanksgiving. Oh, man, I tell you what, it was a busy weekend, that's for sure. Had a great time, spent some time with some friends for their birthdays at Eagle Bluff and enjoyed that. And then spent some time droning. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? How about UAVing? That doesn't even sound good. Anyway, working on a big project and had good weather for that. Got up early yesterday morning, then had a little scare. By the way, if you want to listen to us, you can listen to us any way you want to. You know, used to you would carry, I remember when I was younger, and I'm not as old as some of the other folks on the radio, Confederate Mike, that you carried your radio with you, your transistor radio. And there for a while, you know, you had the Walkman and you put your cassette in, but it had an AM, FM radio, and you could listen to your radio station anywhere. Well, you can do that with us too. And it's very simple. It's the TuneIn app. And the TuneIn app will go anywhere you've got your smartphone. And most people carry their smartphones with them at all times, always. And so it's very simple. You just go to the App Store, whether it's an Apple product or it's a Google product, just go to their App Store, download it, and you've got your TuneIn app anywhere you want to go. It's very simple. Once you download it, just look for Hot News Talk Radio. Just look for Hot News Talk Radio to come up, click, boom, and you hear live just like you're hearing us. It's the same feed that you hear us at hotnewstalkradio.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook, and both of those are very simple, Hot News Talk Radio. I know the sports guy, Keon of Clutch, and I traded some barbs Saturday on Twitter because the great and dominant Arkansas Razorbacks rolled to an easy win, and his Texas Longhorns just did not perform the way I think he thought they should. Anyway, we tied on our picks, just to let everybody know. We tied on our picks, so he got me at the end. I actually picked Virginia Tech, and he picked Ohio State. So that that was a push. It's kind of like kissing your sister. It sounds fun at the moment, but it's really you don't get any benefit out of it. So I'm sure he'll be talking it up on his show. I know he was supposed to be here yesterday, but I think he had some travel delays, as happens when you're traveling through the airports of America on a holiday. You can almost expect some travel delays. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Well, got up early yesterday morning, went out to the marina and did some nice shots of the sun rising up and got some beautiful pictures for them and some nice video. Come back home, and I thought, you know, the UAV or drone that I have had a huge update come in last night or night before last. And I thought, I'm going to go ahead and update everything and I'll be ready to go this afternoon. Well, what should have probably taken about an hour to update ended up taking me about 2 hours to update. And at the end of my update, I think everything's okay. So I go to reboot the drone, and when it reboots, it is making a horrible horrible, nasty noise. I mean, just loud, nasty scream. I mean, I don't even want to make it on the air. I know it will wake a lot of people up, but it was, I mean, it was, and I thought, oh my goodness. I mean, my heart sank. But fortunately, there's a product called YouTube out there, and one of my favorite ways to find out information, just like here, if you want to find out information, you can see us on YouTube. We broadcast live, or you can miss a show or whatever, you can go back and get it. And we're on Hot News Talk Radio at YouTube. Very simple. So I went to YouTube and start saying, why is my drone making this horrible noise? And anyway, there were several YouTubes on it that says, yes, that will happen. It'll probably take about 15 to 20 minutes, and then it will be okay. And it did. In fact, it was so loud and it was so obnoxious that I actually took the drone and put it the furthest away I could into a closet and shut all of the doors. So it was an interesting time for about 2.5 hours there. But then I said, well, let's go try her out. So we went out yesterday afternoon back to the marina. I mean, it was busy yesterday, a lot of boat traffic. Good to see. Actually, the drone performed great. The software performed great. I'm very happy with it. And a lot of new things have come down the pike that they've added. This was a pretty big firmware update. Giving you a little drone talk here at Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. Pretty big update, and I have not had a chance to go through the 5 main things that they really updated. I was more concerned about getting what I needed done for this project yesterday, but I hope to have some time, if not later on this afternoon, maybe tomorrow, to go through that and see exactly how the new products are going to work. And it's always exciting when you get something new or an update to something. This has been an update that was a long time coming, so I'm very happy about it. I hope everybody else had a good weekend. I'll be posting some videos at skyaerialservices.com. That's skyaerialservices.com, where you're going to see these videos. Did a nice little quick little time lapse for the marina and showed the boats coming in and out. It's kind of quick, but put together a nice video package for them, as well as some shots that they're going to use in a couple of national magazines. Looking forward to doing that for them. A great facility. And once we get all this wrapped up, of course, I'm going to give them a lot of playtime here. Hey, if you're out and about and, summer's officially over, and, you may want to hone your shooting skills. After all, more guns were sold this summer than at any time. And my goodness, with Barack Hussein Obama in the White House, I don't blame him. I think we should all be armed. Carter Shooting Supply on Highway 58. You know where they're at on Highway 58. You go up Highway 58 like you're going to Wolf Teaver. They're there on the right. You can't miss them. They've got a package for you and your family. They're having a huge sale. I mean, it is a tremendous sale, and you're going to save some money. They just got in a lot of new inventory. They're trying to clear inventory. I mean, they got a lot of stuff going on where they went to a gun show and bought tons and tons of new stuff. So you want to get in there, first of all, to see the new stuff. Second of all, you want to go in there and get your discount. So that's Carter Shooting Supply on 58. Right before you get to Hunter Road in the Wolf Teaver area. And if you're going north on 58, it will be on the right, and you can't miss it. So go by and, save you some money and get you a gun. Everybody should have 1, 2, 15, 35 guns on them. So that way, if anything does happen, if the day of reckoning comes, you will be ready to protect you and your family. Okay. Also, this weekend, it was pretty unusual. I went, of course, I'm watching the Arkansas game Saturday. Did I mention Arkansas played on Saturday? They played Saturday, looked good. Of course, they played a team that, is, I'm not going to say is a nobody, but they should have won. I actually watched some of the Tennessee game. Tennessee sputtered in the beginning, then finally got it together. I was surprised at that. I kind of thought Tennessee would take control of that game and just, it would be all Tennessee. But as Arkansas did, their defense did not look as good and strong as I think either team wanted them to, nor their fan base. So that's going to be interesting to see how they make the jump in the second week. And we're going to get into that. I think Keon's going to try to come on my show maybe on Thursday, and we'll have some picks and go through our picks and talk about some other things there. As far as college football, our Chattanooga Mocs lost They didn't drop that far in the polls, but they did lose Saturday afternoon, a festive occasion out there, good crowd. But Jacksonville State was just too much for Chattanooga. And I hope that's not I hope that's a springboard. They take that as a springboard to go higher and get the loss behind them and go ahead and win out. Because it's two good teams playing one another. I do not think that the Mocs played as good as they could have. And, it's the first game of the season, so you're kind of rusty. They only dropped 2 in one poll, and I think in the coaches' poll they dropped 4. So they're still top 10 in one poll, and in the coaches' poll they are a top 12 team. I think they're 12. So good for the Mocs. Let's continue to support them. I mean, I know they had Jacksonville's a good opponent. It's not like they started out with a cupcake. I mean, this is a whole full-size cake with lots of icing and lots of sugar, and so they had it. They had a rough go of it. Also, the Lookouts lost their last game of the season last night at home. They will be at home on the 10th of 11th, and they're going to be hosting a playoff game. That's right, they are in the playoffs because they won the first half of the season. So make sure you get out and support them, and that's going to be the 10th and 11th. That's going to be Thursday and Friday night. So make sure you get out and support the Lookouts in their playoff bid. And let's go ahead and bring home a championship win to here. I believe they're playing Montgomery, and they go back and take one from there, and then we can, make this thing happen, and they can be the Southern League champions of 2015. So a lot was going on this weekend. I mean, you had Nightfall wrapped up, Waterfront Nights wrapped up, but then you got Wine Over Water coming. I mean, great thing about Chattanooga is we're a transition city. I mean, nothing really is, there's always something to do. Maybe Christmas Day, there's not as much to do. But if you like the fall festivals, I know they'll be starting up here soon. Get out and enjoy fall in the southeast Tennessee and North Georgia area because it's absolutely gorgeous. We're very fortunate that we do have 4 seasons here. A lot of parts of the country don't have them. And we get 4 nice seasons, 4 livable seasons, enjoyable seasons. So get out there. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. You can go to hotnewstalkradio.com. A lot of people listen to that. Our streaming listenership is huge and growing every day. I asked them, we had a meeting, and I asked the news director, I said, why is it that we call ourselves Hot News Talk Radio? I know what the news is because we give you news. We have CBS and Fox News. And of course, we have lots of talk. We have local talk, from starting at David Tulis from 9 a.m. Then you have my show. Then you have Digital Drive at noon. And then you have sports on Clutch from 1, and then at 2 o'clock we have the Confederate Mike show, and then of course we have Sean Hannity. So I get the talk part and I get the news part, and I said, so Hot News Director Russell Stroud, why is it Hot News Talk Radio? And he said, well, there's only one reason it's hot. And I said, really? Why is that? And he goes, it's because of you, Eric, because you are hot. And I said, I like to think that too, because I am a gorgeous man with a radiant personality, and you're absolutely, I guess I am the one that put the hot in Hot News Talk Radio. So I'm glad to hear that. I am so glad to hear that. So just, keep that. But now you'll always remember that it's Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. Now to get to where I was going earlier, I did meet a couple of our listeners this weekend, watching the Arkansas football game, and decided to run and grab some pizza at halftime right quick. They were a mature couple, let's just say. And they were actually, I guess they were confronted by some Nation of Islam guys. And I walked over to them just to see what was going on, making sure everything was okay. And the meeting kind of broke up, and I asked them, were that the Nation of Islam people? And they said yes. And we told them that they were at war with Christians because they had heard it on talk radio. And I said, really? I said, who do you listen to on talk radio? Well, the gentleman was pretty upset, and I don't think he could remember the name, but his wife says, we listen to the David Tulis show. I said, really? He goes, yeah, we listen to him at, every chance we get. And he's been talking about, how important it is, how this really is a war with Islam between Christians and even non-Christians in Islam. So it was good to talk with them. And, of course, I said, maybe you ever heard of me? And they, oh, yeah, of course, everybody's heard of me. That's just how it goes. Who hadn't heard of me? But anyway, it was good to hear and talk to listeners. And what's more important is that our listeners are out, and then these people were confronted with a situation, and they knew how to handle it, and were very bold and very honest with these people, and told them what they thought. And, they told me that. They said, we think that, and we hear it on Hot News Talk Radio. They didn't say hot, they said talk radio. Most people don't know, it's talk radio. It's all males, but there's only one Hot News Talk Radio, and that's us. The fastest growing talk radio station in Chattanooga, bar none. Bar none. Bring it on, big boys, if you think you're faster. But anyway, it was good talking to them and a great conversation with them. The only disappointing factor is they were Tennessee fans, but I told them I'd be praying for them that they'd get over that. But other than that, they were great people. I enjoyed speaking with them. And once again, that's the power of Hot News Talk Radio and the influence of the one and only DT himself, the David. Yes, the David Tulis Show. So you need to be listening to Mr. Tulis. And that's from 9 to 11. Hey, and read Nooganomics. Great read. If you enjoy his show, you're going to love Nooganomics. It's Nooganomics.com. Very simple. Just type in Nooganomics.com, and David he's a great writer, and he does a good job of keeping that updated, especially on the hot topics of the day. And I guess was last week here at the radio station was our rebuttal to Islam's war against Christian. We kind of had a mini skirmish against Islam here at Hot News Talk Radio last week, and I was proud to be a part of that. And I tell you what, we had a lot of good programming here. You got to be listening to us, because if you want to find out what's going on in Chattanooga, and anybody can kind of scratch the surface stuff, but I know on the David Tulis Show, he gets under the surface. In fact, he'll bury up under the ground and pop up, and you're going, wow, I didn't realize that. Same thing with the digital drive. Anybody can do a tech show. I could come on and do a tech show and say, in fact, I'm going to have a little tech news. Now, is it as deep is what the adolescent does on the digital drive? No. And wouldn't even, I'm not even going to try to do that. That's not something I can do. But, the adolescent on digital drive, and he gets deep in it. And then he takes and says, here's how technology can affect your life here in Chattanooga for the better or worse. What's happening with the NSA. And I'm not even sure what he's talking about today, but I'm going to try to run him down at break. He goes into this closet and meditates for about 30 minutes before his show. He's got to, as he says, he's got to get his mind right. If you only knew him, that would be a true statement. But anyway, we do have a lot of good programming. It's good to get out and meet our listeners. As always, it's good to be a part of this radio station, locally owned radio station. This is a Nooga-centric radio station that has Nooga-centric beliefs. So we believe, and I think this is best stated by the great DT, David Tulis, that, we believe in local economy. And with local ownership here, two men that own it, with local ownership here, they can make local decisions and drive the local economy. So we can help you in your advertising. If you're looking to advertise, you can be like Carter Shooting Supply. You can be like Raphael's Pizza. You can be like Edward Jones. Our list of advertisers is too long for me to sit here and read them all, but you can be part of that, because they're part of the community, and so are we. So if you want to be part of that, give me a call, 423-521-0284, 423-521-0284. And, it's good to have all of the summer behind us, and it's ready to get into fall. And then we'll have the holidays, and then we'll have the dark days of winter. Anxious to see what happens here in September, especially with the stock market and some other things. Start off a bumpy ride Friday, but it seems to be coming back today. You are listening to the Mr. Judd Show on Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240, the hottest, the newsiest, the talkingest radio station in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Costa, host of the Costa Report every Sunday at 9 a.m. My guest this week took over as executive director of the American Civil Liberties Union 7 days before the 9/11 attacks. Anthony Romero will be here to talk about the growing need to protect liberties guaranteed by the Constitution. Don't miss an honest look at post 9/11 America right here on AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio.
Here you are, working to keep your customers happy and to manage your cash flow. IRS problems are the last thing you need, but here they are, flapping about you like vultures. Get help from Eric Pelton and his team of accountants at E.J. Pelton Company. Audits, letters, proposed return changes, 1099s, penalty threats. Pelton Tax Resolution Services brings peace of mind and helps you keep more of what you've earned. EJPelton.com. Offices on Brainerd Road and in Soddy Daisy, just north of the Bilo. That's E.J. Pelton. Call 622-3156. Think ahead, 622-3156.
When my brother and I opened our first Jet's Pizza, we believed if we made the best pizza, customers would find us. So we made fresh dough each day, used fresh toppings, and premium mozzarella cheese. 300-plus stores later, we still do.
Try Jet's famous 8-corner pizza with premium mozzarella cheese and one topping, now just $11.99 for a limited time only. Jet's Pizza, the best pizza in town. 3600 Hickson Pike.
Life is short. Eat better pizza.
Let's get Jets. Are you tired of working in corporate America, or have you recently lost your job and would like to consider owning your own business? If you are, please call me, as I can help you look at franchises or business opportunities that fit you, the economy that we're in, and the type of businesses that are right in the greater Chattanooga area. After I help my clients find the right opportunity, I also help them find the best way to finance the business, including paying yourself through the startup phase. If you would like to learn more about opportunities that may be right for you, please call me for a free assessment. My name is Bruce Krebs at the Entrepreneur Source. Phone number is 423-875-5621.
If you have the DTs, the shakes, because your phone is on the fritz, you have nomophobia, you need help. Your telecom doctor is in. Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall. Cell Surgeon yanks open the ribcage of your phone, pries out the dead heart, and puts in the beating life that you lead on your cell phone. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out? Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall next to Old Chicago Pizza. Check us out on Facebook, open Sunday. Cell Surgeon, we bring your phone back to life. Mention Hot News Talk Radio and get 10% off.
This is America Now with Meghan McCain.
Al Gore running is crazy. You're flying around in your private jet all over the world, and you want average Americans to care about the environment. Don't you think you should be doing your part as well?
Meghan McCain, weekdays at 7 p.m.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Ooh, baby, it's the Mr. Judd Show.
Yes, it is. And we're back on this Tuesday, the Tuesday after Labor Day, here on Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1250. Okay, so you got to get out of your car. You're not going in your office. You're going to work out. Maybe you have to get out of your car and you've got to, walk a piece of land. But you want to continue to hear what's going on here at Hot News Talk Radio. It's simple. It's the TuneIn app on your smartphone. Download it. Find Hot News Talk Radio. Boom. You can listen to us anywhere, anytime. And if you happen to be at the office, just go to your computer and you can get hotnewstalkradio.com. Boom, minimize it. You can listen to us all day, every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We got great weekend lineup. And then, of course, we have the greatest, the best, without a doubt, weekday lineup in the city of Chattanooga. Hey, it's almost lunchtime. We're some people may be going to lunch right now. Try Raphael's Pizza, an Italian restaurant. They have a location in Hickson, right there at Highland Plaza, in Soddy Daisy. It's right across from, or right next to the Soddy Daisy Church of God. They have one on Signal at Taft Highway. And listen to this: buy one, get one pizza, get one free. Man, you can't beat it. Buy one pizza, get one free. Can't beat it. So go to Raphael's. Great Italian food, good pizza. They have a great menu there. They've got sandwiches, salads, whatever you want. So just go to Raphael's. And one in Hickson, that's right there at the Highland Plaza, across from it. Soddy Daisy. It's on Old Dayton Boulevard there, next to the Soddy Daisy Church of God. And then, of course, the one on Signals on Taft Highway. So I hope you get by Raphael's Pizza and Italiano Restaurant. So what else is going on, everybody, here in Chattanooga? You know, there's a big event tomorrow. I'm an Apple guy. That sounds weird, but when it comes to phones and computers and all of that, I prefer Apple over the dreaded Google and Android. But they're having a big event tomorrow, and one of the things they're going to be talking about, of course, they're going to talk about there's supposed to be a big announcement for the iPhone 6. And that, that I'm anxious to see what happens there, because I don't think they're coming out with a new phone. They're just going to have like they do every other year, they add an S to it, and I still don't know why they put an S on it. But anyway, so that's going to be the announcement, but it says it's even going to be pretty big. Even announcing the iPhone 6S or 6 Plus S is going to be big. So there ought to be some changes there. I know they're working on some software update and operating system update, so I'm anxious to see how that's going to be. I'm not sure if it'll be out tomorrow or not, or will it may be a couple of days before it gets out. But the big product that I'm interested in is Apple TV. It says that they're going to, it's essentially going to be rolled out as a new product. And it appears to be an upgrade to an existing, box, which is a small little box that you plug into your TV that brings you streaming programming, which, I'm pretty happy. They're supposed to have an app store in there right now. Apple does not have an app store in their Apple TV. Now, I watch a lot of Apple TV. I enjoy it, but you're kind of limited to the apps that they have on there already. Some of them are just odd, and I don't know why they're on there, but it would be nice to have they have a app store for everything else. I mean, you even have it for your MacBook Pro, but yet you don't for your Apple TV. So I'm hoping that they're going to come out with that. They're also talking about that you'll be able to stream local stations, which I think would be pretty cool. I would almost just completely do away with cable, especially if I can get ESPN and any other sports there. I mean, that'd be fine. I'd be happy with that. I would not need anything else. As far as that. So I'm hoping that the Apple TV, I know they're saying the new console is going to be, the price is going to be a little higher, but I'm hoping that maybe it'd just be a firmware update for me, and I'll have the different things and then get some of the added benefit of the new Apple TV coming out. They're also supposed to announce the iPad Pro, which is a bigger version of their iPad now, which is I think is really supposed to target attorneys and doctors, and makes it so that they use it in their practice, and it's supposed to be their professional version. So I'm sure it's going to have some updated processors and memory and stuff like that, so it can work a little quicker and interface probably better with systems that are already out there, which is kind of one thing that Apple lacks from time to time. So I'm looking for that announcement, and they really haven't pushed anything on the professional side of stuff, except for, I think it was 2013 when MacBook Pro come out, and it was supposed to be for the professional, but it's ended up being more of a consumer product than it is anything now. So I'm looking forward to it. Anytime, September's always big because that's when they usually make their announcements. And everybody thought that this year would kind of be, every other year when they're not bringing out a new iPhone, seems to be a down year, but I think it's going to look pretty good. I mean, I'm anxious to see what changes there are to the iPhone. And also, the operating system, see what they're going to do with that, and see how that's going to interface with my iPhone. And at the same time, the Apple TV, as I said, is a huge event for me. I'm hoping that they're going to add more apps, and I know that they had talked about maybe interfacing some gaming, and I know the new Apple TV is supposed to have a new remote that actually has Siri on it. So this ought to be pretty good. I'm anxious to see it and see exactly what they announce. I'm not sure. I think it's normally around between noon and 3 tomorrow is when they normally make that announcement. I know that they have scheduled a larger venue for the announcement, and they're supposed to give you a preview of the Apple campus at the same time. And my understanding is they've taken some things that some voices from Steve Jobs, and he's going to be the one narrating that. So that's going to be pretty interesting too. But like I said, being an Apple person, I carry an iPhone and I believe in their products and I like the way they all interface. The Apple TV is going to be big, and this, I'm looking forward to see how this iPad Pro is going to look. How much bigger is it going to be? Sometimes with my eyesight, it could need to be the size of a billboard for me to use it. But anyway, so I'm looking for them to see exactly what. Also, I think they said there may be an upgrade or something with the watch. Which I'm not the watch. I don't like to wear watches anyway. But the watch just hadn't grabbed me like some of their products do. So that's tomorrow. So if you're an Apple person, I know you can be happy to hear that and get out there. And I'm not sure. I think the adolescent on Digital Drive is more of a Windows and Google guy, but he may mention it too. I'll find out at break exactly what he's going to be talking about. Hey, don't forget, Keon is back. The clutch is back on the air from 1 to 2. He's going to fix you up on all your sports. I'm sure he's going to be talking about what ESPN just kind of broke as far as the Spygate versus Deflategate. We might get into that in the next little bit and see what's going on there. Once again, you're listening to the Mr. Judd Show. This is Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
Compass Media Network's coverage of the NFL. Hi, this is Jerry Recco. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, myself for all the action.
Hot News Talk 1240.
If it's the NFL, it's right here.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
Hot News Talk 1240.
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made. I'd probably run for president of the southern states. The day Elvis passed away would be our national holiday. If the South would have won, we'd have had it made.
NASCAR, Laura Ingraham, David Tulis, Coast to Coast AM, and CBS Radio News. Chattanooga's news, talk, and sports leader.
Hot News Talk 1240.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Ooh, baby, it's the Mr. Judd Show.
Yes, it is. It's the one and only, the Mr. Judd Show. That's a quick break. Man, tell you what, I barely had time to halfway start putting my clothes on since we're toward the end of the show. Need a little longer break so I can at least get my shirt tucked in. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. AM is alive and well. We cover all of Hamilton County. We creep up to Dayton and Decatur. We go all the way over to Cleveland, and we kind of tap you on the shoulder and say, psst, we're here. That's right. Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. It's very simple. Now you may want to write this down because I know it's going to be hard to remember. Let's see. On Twitter and on Facebook, it is Hot News Talk Radio. Yeah, pretty simple. Hot News Talk Radio. So follow us. That way, if you're out and about, if you see something happen that you say, hey, look, these guys over here at Hot News Talk Radio need to know this. Follow us on Twitter. Tweet us. And if it's something really big and important, we're going to get it on the air and make sure all of our listeners and all of Chattanooga knows it. And then if you, if not, if it's something minor and you just want to tweet it to us or whatever, we'll make sure we get it out to all of our Twitterverse too. You can follow me on Twitter if you'd like to. EL Judd on Twitter. I love Twitter for football season. It's absolutely so much fun to get on Twitter and have some fun with the opposing team. I even jumped on Twitter during the Texas Notre Dame game and kind of got some Texas fans a little, revved up. But that's okay. I just want to make sure they were paying attention. But I like Twitter for that purpose. Also, I get a lot of news from there, and I think it's important. It's like anything else. You got to figure out what you want to follow, who you want to follow, and I know you'd want to follow me. I mean, why not? So But I load like Twitter, and I'm not a big Facebook person, so that's kind of foreign to me. It's like a whole foreign land. But Twitter is a lot of fun, and I hope you follow us on Twitter, Hot News Talk Radio, and don't not forget the TuneIn app. I just think that's the coolest thing that you can, when you leave here, like I'm leaving here, and I'm gonna be headed north for a little while. I got some droning to do. Really sounds like I'm depressed when I say I've got some droning to do. You know what? Here on the Mr. Judd Show at Hot News Talk Radio, we are always ahead of the curve. And, we've been ahead of the curve, especially on this show. If you listen to the David Tulis show, and they were talking about HUD and all of those big changes coming down, how it's going to affect communities. If you remember, in late July, I talked about it from a different way. I didn't talk about it from the municipality standpoint. I talked about it from the real estate investor standpoint. And I think these HUD changes are huge, and they're going to be one of those where people are going to wake up and go, holy moly, Andy, what is going on? Because it's another way that the government is just slowly feeding you, slowly indoctrinating to you until you turn around and then you say, well, this is not the country I had before. Really? Why don't you wake up? But so I thought that was important. Now this is another thing that we're ahead of the curve on.
Did you know you can't spell funeral without fun? We're Carnival Funeral Homes, where we put the fun back into funeral. Why have all the crying and gnashing when you can have a festive time like you're at the fair at the Midway? That's right, Carnival Funeral Homes. Every Tuesday is 2 for 1, and every Thursday is for the ladies. That's right, it's Carnival Funeral Home, where we put the fun back into funeral.
And funerals should be fun, and not to bring up a depressing subject here on a Tuesday here in Chattanooga land, but this is from The Guardian, and it says the rise of alternative funerals, including beaches, buses, and anything but black, is on the way. And that's right. It says a poll shows a third of the people would consider having a non-church location for their funeral, and a quarter would ask mourners to wear colorful clothes, which, I'm all about that. I've always said that, there's going to be two people at my funeral. People are, first of all, they're going to be having a good time because they're happy I'm dead. The other people are, they might be a little sad that I'm gone, but I think everybody should be happy at a funeral. Why we have this malaise of just, sorrow and all of the falling out and all the crying is just beyond me, and then cracks me up. People are crying, I'm gonna miss him, but he's in a better place, or she's in a better place. She's happier now. Then why don't you be happier? Or is it about the person, or is it about your mourning? Anyway, it says here, basically the traditional funeral is kind of being changed and kind of on the way out. It says mourners are likely to dispense with the traditional hearse, choosing buses, motorcycles, horse-drawn carriages, and even white vans instead, according to the research carried out among the Cooperative Funeral Care, which has about 2,500 funeral directors under it. Now, this is, I'm glad to see this. I know it's odd to see, maybe, hey, we'll stick old Charlie in a van here and haul him to the, cemetery, but why not? At that point, Charlie doesn't care what he's riding in. I don't. If they're burying me in the cold ground, which I hope they don't do, I'd rather be cremated. But anyway, I don't care what I'm riding around in at that point. It's not like it's, you're going to be mad. Well, I need to be in a Cadillac at that point. But anyway, they're talking about, the locations of it. Some people want to have it by a lake or river. Some people want to have it on a hillside or in a garden, or even a beach, or maybe, there's also a big contingency that wants to actually go out to sea and have their, funeral out to sea. So I think that's cool. Why, these traditions we get in, we used to, which I think is a very weird thing. And I remember it when I was younger, they would bring the body back to the house, and and everybody be sitting around eating with the body there, which I just, that I don't get. I'm glad that tradition has gone out of favor. To sit around and, hey, will you pass me the potato salad over Uncle Smith there? My goodness, that's something I can't do. Man, he loved turnip greens, and so do I. But they have the body in the house, and then they'd have someone stay. It's just we do weird stuff. Some people are weird. Then we're really weird sometimes when it comes to funerals. Anyway, it says nearly half of the funeral directors have arranged services in the last year where the congregation wore clothing significant to the deceased, such as football shirts, fancy dresses. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Maybe you're representing their sports team. Maybe they were a farmer and everybody's in overalls, all that good stuff. In fact, the picture they're showing is a hearse following, it's actually following Darth Vader. And it says a funeral director dressed as Darth Vader leads the procession to the cemetery. And it's pretty cool. I mean, why not? Why not have fun? I hope, there's a lot of things people can say about me when I'm gone, but I try to have fun. And I hope that, people around me had fun. So why not have that? Your last send off here on earth, and people are going to be, crying and moaning and falling out and all that just crap that they do for their own attention. I get that, but let's just have fun. Have music playing. I don't want the old bringing in the or any of that, onward Christian. So no, I don't want any of that. Well, you're a Christian. No, I don't. I don't have to have any of that stuff. Let's just have a good time. Let's make it a carnival. Because after all, at my funeral, I want to put the fun into funerals. Exactly what I want to do. But the article goes on to say, that sometimes they are reading their favorite passage from a book. They're playing their favorite religious music, which I think is cool. Have a bar. Why don't you raise, why don't you do this? Which I think this would be pretty cool, and I want to be cremated. So it'd be more of a memorial than a funeral. What I'd like to do is, let's raise money for somebody. Let's have a cash bar, and after the expenses are covered, then that money goes toward, whatever charity it is. And I'd let somebody else pick, but whatever charity, let's raise money. Maybe, have food there, have a couple of food trucks. Say, I like that. Have a couple of food trucks, have an arrangement with them that 50% of the purchases goes to, maybe that family that feeds the people there, the kids every morning, down there, the bus stop ministries folks. That's who I want it to go to. So you got a food truck there. You got maybe a beer man. Maybe a guy run around, hey, cold beer here. I mean, why not? Let's have fun with this. And at the same time, do something that is good for the living, for the people that are still here. I don't, not that I'm going to have a lot of mourners or probably have a lot of people poking me if my body were there. Are you still alive? Taking like a pin. And I think he's still alive. But I mean, why not have fun with this thing? Man, I want food trucks. I want a keg of beer or a beer man run around, and we're going to raise money for the bus stop ministry people. We're going to have a good time. We'll have dancing. I mean, if you're going to be sad and solemn, there is an occasion to do that we don't do. We do the opposite. So if you want to have that sad, solemn occasion where you want to cry and weep and be sad for that person, then I say, instead of doing that at the funeral, then that's what we should do at weddings.
On AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Sky Aerial Services uses advanced drone technology to give you a better perspective and depth of your property and project. We offer aerial photography and video for your business, farm, home, or advertising campaigns, as well as editing services to complete the experience. Call us at 423-521-0284 and see how we can help you tell your story about your business, property, or project. We work with real estate professionals, both commercial and residential, developers, engineer inspectors, surveyors, ad agencies, auto and boat dealers, mapping services, insurance inspectors, corporate marketing, charity events, weddings, and photographers. Our consultation is free. Call 423-521-0284. That's 423-521-0284, or visit our website, skyaerialservices.com. Sky Aerial Services. The sky is our limit. Social media, we're on that. Hot News Talk Radio on Facebook, at Hot News Talk Radio on Twitter. Download the TuneIn app and follow us anywhere at any time. AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio.
We've got a table here at Delia's and Saudi Daisy, ready to delight in a plate of authentic Mexican food. Delia's spreads a rich selection: loaded nachos, crazy chicken, homemade tamales, maybe the enchiladas with beef, chicken, pork, quesadillas. Every dish beautifully pictured on the menu to help us decide. Join us for lunch or dinner. We're at Delia's and Saudi Daisy on Dayton Pike near the Thrasher Light. Here's dinner. Delia's uses the freshest ingredients, cooked to perfection. Nachos, homemade. Delia's open every day except the Lord's Day. For lunch and dinner, treat yourself to Delia's genuine Mexican food. In Saudi, call 521-7145. That's 521-7145.
This is America Now with Meghan McCain.
Al Gore running is crazy. You're flying around in your private jet all over the world, and you want average Americans to care about the environment. Don't you think you should be doing your part as well?
Meghan McCain, weekdays at 7 p.m.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Ooh, baby, it's the Mr. Judd Show.
Yes, it is. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. After me on the Mr. Judd Show, at noon is the Digital Drive with the one and only The Adolescent. And he graced me with the words, what he's going to do on his show. You may want to listen to this. It's pretty cool. First of all, he said that Uber is expanding to China. Why not? I mean, it's, a billion plus people. That's where I'd expand to. Also, he said that both Google and Amazon are going to start delivering food. Now, I'm not sure. I know Amazon does some dry goods now, but I think this is an expansion of that. So I think this is going to be pretty big. You want to listen to the digital drive? That's every day from noon to 1. And that's the Adolescent, the one and only Russell. And he's going to be talking about maybe wouldn't it be pretty cool to be able to sit at home and order your food? I mean, if Amazon brings your eggs by drone, I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. I guess they're automatically scrambled. That's all you can get, scrambled eggs. But I think it'd be pretty cool to be able to order food. We get our pizza delivered. Why not have your milk and eggs and flour and all that, I enjoy going to the grocery store. Don't get that because I enjoy eating, but there's a lot of people that don't. Or maybe you just need something real quick. You go on Google and say, I'm going to Google me up some lunch meat and bread. And boom, you have it right there. I think that'd be pretty neat. So you want to listen to the Digital Drive? You should be listening to him every day. Sounds like he's going to have a great show as he always does. After him is Clutch. That's the sports show here on Hot News Talk Radio and Sports. So Keon will be back after Texas's devastating loss to Notre Dame, and we tied. So like I said, it's like kissing your sister, only not as much fun. And then after him, Confederate Mike. Be anxious to see what Confederate Mike will be talking about today. Anxious to see, as always. And then you got Sean Hannity. You got Hot News at 5. We're the only news talk radio station between 5 and 6. We're going to give you news, local news, breaking news, national, world news. At the same time, we're going to have traffic. You're going to be able to get your weather. And so we're going to make sure you get home okay, safe, and quickly. And then after him, the one and only Cowboy up with Tex. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Tex is in the house. And he'll be stirring it up after 3 days off. He's got a lot on his mind. Coming off vacation, then getting a 3-day weekend. My goodness. Snake Wrangler Extraordinaire Tex will be on the air from 6 to 7. Then you got Meghan McCain. We just have a great lineup here at Hot News Talk Radio. It all starts in the morning, though, after Daybreak USA, which is a good show to wake up to. Then we have the one and only David Tulis show. So make sure you listen to David. I'll be back at 11. Looking forward to tomorrow's show. Man, do I have so much planned for you tomorrow. I'm going to have to do a 2-hour show in just under an hour tomorrow because I've got so much stuff packed in there. This segment is brought to you by Carter's Shooting and Supply. Now, they're right at 58. You know where they're at. You've driven by there 1,000 times. But great indoor shooting facility. They have a wide variety of ammunition, of guns, of targets, whatever you need. If you are a shooting enthusiast, they've got whatever you need. Plus, they're having a huge sale right now. So get up to Carter's Shooting Supply. Go in there and make sure you tell them you heard about us. You heard about them on Hot News Talk Radio, and they will make sure they get all of your needs as far as anything. If you guns, handguns, long guns, whatever it is, and ammunition, that's Carter's Shooting Supply. Okay, so it just came down, I guess, about a little over an hour ago, that Spygate to Deflategate inside what split the NFL and the Patriots apart. It says here, this is from ESPN.com, it says the widespread perception that the Spygate was worse than was ever made public, and that turned Deflategate into what one of the NFL owners termed as a makeup call from the NFL commissioner, Roger Goodell, and his league. It's really interesting how this plays out, because I always thought that Deflategate was nothing. I mean, just nothing. Now, if this is true, if this is kind of a payback for what they didn't do and what they should have done during Spygate, and that Spygate would really be about the coach, not the player. But they made Deflategate about the player and made it about their quarterback, Brady, and really went after him. Why do that? I mean, as far as I know, Brady didn't have anything to do with Spygate. So that's interesting to see on that. And it's very interesting to see that, how that plays out and what's coming up. Hey, also tonight, if you're a tennis fan, Serena Williams plays Venus Williams. So the Williams sisters are playing tonight at the U.S. Open, and I think that's about 7 o'clock. So you're going to want to catch that. You got to kind of 2 days here of not football. Then on Thursday, the NFL kicks off. We are the official NFL station here in Chattanooga, as well as NASCAR. So we've got your sports covered on the weekends. We've got them covered during the week. Everyday analysis, Monday through Friday. You have Clutch from 1 to 2. And Keon does a really good job. We look past that he's a Texas fan, and we also look past that he's a Redskins fan. But other than that, he does a really good job. Big sports weekend. College football has finally kicked off. Oh, man, what a great weekend it was. Alabama looked good against Wisconsin. Did watch Ohio State last night. They kind of looked good, and then I don't know if they fell asleep and let Virginia Tech come back. But, man, I tell you what, their running game is huge. I mean, they have a very good defense. So, they could repeat. I'm not so sure they will, but they could repeat. So they looked good. Alabama looked good. Baylor looked good. I guess of the top four, TCU probably looked the weakest. So it's going to be an interesting. I tell you, Auburn. I watched the Auburn-Louisville game, and if Louisville's coach hadn't have maybe not made some stupid decisions with timeouts and other things, they may have had a chance to upset Auburn. So I know the Auburn fans are glad to get out of there. Of course, your national championship team this year will be the Arkansas Razorbacks. Everybody knows that. They ought to just go ahead and hand it to them, and then we'll just play the rest of the season for fun. Well, spoken like a true Hog fan. May have to call the Hogs one day. I don't know if they'll allow me to do that on the radio. All right, it's Hot News Talk Radio, AM 1240. We found out what the hot stands for. That stands for me, because I'm so hot, spicy, and just absolutely gorgeous. I think that's what it means. We're the newsiest. We are that sounds like we're nosy, but we're not. We're news. I mean, we're news-oriented. We have CBS News. We have Fox News. We have great talk radio, and it runs the gamut here. So there's no reason to listen to anyone else but this fine radio station. We are locally owned, and we're very proud of it. We're very proud that you listen to us. We thank you for that. We thank you very much for that, and we thank our advertisers too. Don't forget to get out to Raphael's Pizza and Italian Restaurant. They have a location in Hickson, Saudi, and Signal. Buy one pizza, get one free. My time on Tuesday is just about over. Continue to listen to Hot News Talk Radio. The Digital Drive's coming up, the one and only The Adolescent. You're listening to the Mr. Judd Show. We'll be back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. and a packed show. You do not want to miss it.